Hi there, we are Lisa and Chris. Please join us aboard our main ship 390, Cool Beans, as we cruise America's Great Loop. Before leaving the marina, I left a kindness rock in the flower bed. This is just something fun I've been doing all along the loop. It was now time to head north into the Trent-Severn Waterway, and now we are in lock mode. We will be going through 45 locks on this waterway until we hit the Georgian Bay. Every lock station on the Trent-Severn Waterway forms part of a historic navigational system that connects Lake Ontario to Georgian Bay. Parks Canada maintains and operates these national historic sites to make travel possible for boaters and paddlers along 209 nautical miles of waterway. We purchased a seasonal locking and mooring pass, as they do charge to go through each lock as well as tie up on the walls at night. We figured this would be the best value for our money. I wanted to show you how the lock gates are opened and closed. These locks are almost all manually operated, requiring 16 turns of the turnstile to open each gate. Hand winches on the gates operate the valves for emptying and filling the locks. We all got the biggest kick out of this little swan family. Can you see the baby swans riding on mom or dad's back? And they kept sliding off and climbing back up again. It's like a baby swan game. Many of these locks have really cute houses on the premises. We found out that back in the day, the lockmasters lived at the houses and they were on duty 24/7. So if a boat needed to lock through, they just honked their horn and the lockmaster would come out and lock them on through. Today, the houses are the lock offices, restrooms, and in some case, they sell ice to boaters. In this lock, a large turtle was going up with us. He seemed a little out of place, but the lockmaster assured us that he would be okay and he would just swim out when the gates opened. We stayed here at the top of Lock 7 for the night. No power or water, but a beautiful place to rest up and get some ice cream. Travel Day 71. We went 12 nautical miles from Trenton, Ontario to Frankfurt, Ontario. Good morning.
Good morning.
Where did we just leave and where are we going?
We spent the night on the wall above Lock 7, and I think we're headed to another wall at Lock 12.
That's right, and we are in the great country of
Canada. We're on the Trent-Severn Waterway.
We are. And it is, I have to say, it's been absolutely lovely, beautiful, peaceful, amazing so far. You?
Been really nice, seen some interesting wildlife.
Spiders.
Lots of spiders in northern New York and southern Canada for sure.
Really, and it's awful. They're everywhere. We all sweep our boats every day, every night, and they still just find their way back on somehow. Maybe at the next big town we'll get some spider spray.
I hope.
All right. Well, I'm going to show some video of where we just left and along the way. It's just beautiful here. All right. Bye. We had a very peaceful morning leaving our lock wall. The towns and villages on the waterway are just so quaint, and I absolutely love how everyone flies the Canadian flag. They are so patriotic, which we love and respect. So I wanted to show you a time-lapse video of a lock, and what better lock to do that than a flight lock. This is actually two locks put together. You can see that we go in, we go up, and then the gates open and we do it again. We got into the town of Campbellford and we find our spot on the city wall and tie up. We asked where the closest hardware store was and we were directed to, what else, Canadian Tire? Well, they were right. It is kind of an automotive store with a hardware store and a nursery attached. Outside there was a food truck and I was fascinated by the word frings, so I had to get some. FYI, they are mixed fries and onion rings and they were delish. Travel day 72. We went 15 nautical miles from Frankfurt, Ontario to Campbellford, Ontario. We decided to spend a few days in Campbellford as there was much to do there and the weather was looking a little windy one of the days. There are several must-dos in the town, so we grabbed our wagon and headed across the bridge into the town. First stop, Dewar's Bakery for famous donuts, breads, and tarts. We bought a loaf of bread and asked for it to be sliced. She put it in this cool machine. Do you remember either buying or selling World's Finest Chocolate for fundraisers in school? Well, here is their home, and we bought so much chocolate for amazing prices. Then to the succinctly named beer store, where you order at a window and the conveyor belt delivers your order to you. It took about 20 seconds from ordering to delivery, and we just thought it was so cool. Walking back through town, we saw some beautiful homes and interesting sights. We assumed this is a black maple tree. And here is the giant toonie sculpture in the park where we are staying. The coin was constructed in 2001 as a monument to Canadian nature artist Brent Townsend, who created the now iconic polar bear image on the tail sides of the coin. Townsend created the artwork in Campbellford, thus deeming this quiet riverside town the birthplace of the $2 coin, or the toonie. In today's interesting boat information, I wanted to talk about boating in another country. We had a lovely Canadian lady this week stop by our boat in Campbellford to ask us why we flew both the U.S. flag and the Canadian flag on our boat. One thing you should know as a looper, potential looper, or a boater in general, is that out of respect, you fly the flag of the country that you are visiting. It's called a courtesy flag, and I can tell you that they all love it and appreciate it. Traditionally and logically, you should not fly a courtesy flag until your vessel is properly cleared by customs and immigration. Once we received our reporting number in Kingston, Chris hung the Canadian flag, and it will remain until we get back to the U.S. Here's pictures of Tranquility's courtesy flag and Strummin Along's courtesy flag. And also, here's our first buddy boat, if you'll remember, Brazeau, flying the Bahamian flag when they arrived in the Bahamas this spring. What is your tip of the week?
This week's tip is courtesy of our friend Allison aboard Cygnus. We were visiting them on their boat and we started talking about food storage. As you know, the boat environment's very humid, very wet, and food storage is very important. Your bread doesn't seem to last as long, tortillas, those types of things. And she showed us she uses her microwave to store her bread and tortillas and those types of things. It's just an added layer of protection to keep them out of the moisture. And we found it seems to help.
I agree. Thanks, Allison. We left Campbellford and got in line at the next lock. The locks here don't open until 9 a.m., so you're supposed to line up on the blue line to wait your turn to go through. Here we are waiting for it to open. They test the pumps before opening, and you can see all of the swirling and current that is generated by this lock. This particular day, we locked through rafting with Next Wave. Many of the Trent-Severn locks require rafting rather than boats tying up independently to each side of the wall. It has to do with where the water is pumping in from. So it's safer to raft if it's pumping into the lock from one of the sides, and it's safer to both tie up on opposite walls if it's pumping up from the middle. I hope that makes sense. Here is another time lapse of the four of us going through this lock, and I had the camera attached to the mast, pointed backwards this time. First, we went in and secured to the wall. Then Next Wave came in and rafted to us. Then Strummin Along came in and tied to the wall. Then lastly, Tranquility came in and rafted to Strummin. The lock doors closed and up we go. This was lock 14, so this is us going up 25 feet. There are so many cute lake houses on this part of our journey. We just know that all these people love being on this waterway. How amazing. Wow, it is so beautiful here on the Trent-Severn Waterway. There are so many little lake house communities, and the landscape is just breathtaking. This is our last lock for the day, and a time lapse of a smaller lift, 8 foot. We did have to wait for them to swing open the swing bridge before we could move. We found right after the lock a few spots on the wall and tied up for the night. We enjoyed a great seafood dinner at the captain's table with our boat buddies. Travel day 73. We went 17 nautical miles from Campbellford, Ontario to Hastings, Ontario. Good morning.
Good morning.
Where did we just leave and what time is it and where are we going?
That's a lot of questions.
You got this.
We're leaving Hastings, Ontario, and we're going to Peterborough. It's 7:45 in the morning.
That's right. It's a little early, but it's okay. We beat the rush if there is one. Yeah, we're going to Peterborough. There's only one lock today. I'm so excited. Are you?
should be a nice day, even though it is Saturday. We'll be crossing the lake, so.
Oh, I bet there's a lot of boats on the lake.
Well, I hope there's not too much traffic.
I know.
We shall see.
We're kind of breaking our rule traveling on a Saturday, but oh well. We got this. In Canada, there's no rules. How's that?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Bye. We got very lucky with a beautiful day to go 34 nautical miles today, and luckily we only have one lock to go through. I mean, just look at this glass water. Picture courtesy of Yvonne. We got through our one and only lock and pulled up to the marina, and we see this gorgeous water fountain right outside. It's so cute. We got lucky and there was a concert at the park adjacent to the marina, so we all enjoyed an evening of some Motown music along with 3,000 other locals and boaters. A good time was had by all. Travel Day 74. We traveled 34 nautical miles from Hastings, Ontario to Peterborough, Ontario.
Welcome back aboard Cool Beans. This week we started up the Trent-Severn Waterway.
We did.
And I think we did about 80 miles, which is not a lot.
No.
But we did, I think, 20. Did we do 20 locks this week?
19.
19
Yeah.
locks, which is a lot considering the locks can take anywhere from 10 minutes to, 45 minutes.
Almost an hour.
And that's assuming you're not waiting. You're pulling straight in, and they get the gates closed and they start pumping water.
They do a good job of that, though. Like the locks will call ahead, and once you get in a lock routine, then they pretty much open them up. It kind of depends on if boats are going the opposite direction. It might hold it up a little, but otherwise, we've had a great week. We've been really lucky. It's been hot.
We've been locking through, and the locks have been full. We've been 4 boats each time, and that adds additional time. The first boat gets in and gets secure all the way against the wall. Then the next boat either comes in and ties up on the opposing wall or rafts up to the boat that's already tied, and then the next boat, and then the last boat. And it just adds time because these boats are not real nimble, and it just takes a few minutes to get them in position to make sure the boats are safe and everybody's secure.
Well, we've been perfecting our locking technique, and I think we have it down. So, we got this. We've got 45 locks on the Trent-Severn.
Practice does make perfect.
It does.
Or maybe not perfect, but it improves your skill.
Well, we've had a great week. Thanks for all your questions, comments. I've tried to answer them all on the comment section, but if you have a question, just let us know.
Absolutely. Keep the comments coming, and hello to all friends and family.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week aboard Cool Beans.
Okay.
Hey?
That's not the candidate.
That is definitely a candidate phrase.
All right. Bye, everybody.